Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm trying to make some adjustments. This is Sister Deanne and the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360. How are you doing? It was a rainy day and cold day. We didn't know about what to do. Wow. It was a rainy, and some thunderstorms today in the Valley of the Sun. It wasn't so sunny today. So it was just an interesting day. Got a couple of things done, which I needed to do. And nothing prevented me. It was a safe journey. So thank goodness. I didn't want that glare from my light to be right in the visual field. So I just brought it down. So I'm sitting in my dining room and I just like the kitty cat, which is, I'm a cat person. So, and that is behind me. So I hope you all had a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day. Like I said, we were a little chilly, unlike typical 70s or perhaps low 70s today. But that wasn't anywhere in the forecast. So we enjoyed the shift. It felt like New York, it was like a blast from the past. Like, where am I? Where am I? Am I in Brooklyn? It felt really bitter cold. It was probably 45, I think, was the high. And that's really cold because in the desert, the lower temperature is going to drop down into the valley. It was snowing up in Prescott, Flagstaff, uh, definitely the canyon. It's probably below 5 or 10. But it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I'm definitely not complaining. Beautiful day nevertheless. And, here we are, here we are, here we are. So I hope you all had a wonderful, fantastic day. And I did, like I said, I got a few things done, and now I'm here. So we're going to get back in it with the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360. So let me read my fair use disclaimer to dot every I, cross every T. So let me do that first. So fair use disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay, so we already got that out the way. And just so you know, I have a copy of my book and the real copy of my book. So, the Melanin Diet. So, look at that. And if you can, pick up a copy. And I typically don't sign my books because I just want people to, unless it's requested, so you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. So like, share, subscribe to my channel, the Melanin Report 360. So I've got some exciting news, maybe kind of premature. So I'm just going to say I'm working on a lot of fantastic journey for this year. And I'll just give you a little hint. About 2 years ago, I had a reading from a lady I want to say she was in Central Florida somewhere. Yeah, I think it was Central Florida. And she said to look to start my business in 2021. She didn't say anything in 2020. And so she said, yeah, just pay attention to 2021. It'll be a fantastic year for you. So, so far, so good. All right. So I want to talk about the fact of melanin. It is a privilege to have melanin, although we haven't always felt it internally, externally. The outer environment is not necessarily happy when they see us because we are an example of the greatness, the greatness that the legacy continues. So, unlike what they thought, they meaning the other society, they thought we would expire by now because they know everything that we have been a I don't want to say victim. We have been, yeah, well, victimized. That's, it's a decent word. But they know everything that they have fundamentally, not them, but their ancestors. And we are a miracle to them. But they're not going to say that in their mind. Inside, they're going to say, Deanne lives because this is a miracle. This is, you know, this is an absolute miracle that she has survived the worst holocaust known on the planet. And yet, we haven't been adequately compensated. We haven't even been 40 acres and a mule was promised. I don't remember anyone getting 40 acres and a mule. So yeah, we have a lot to be grateful and thankful for because you chose this incarnation to come into this being with melanin. It's a gift, even though on a day-to-day basis we may be reminded of the opposite. But we know in our mind and our heart, this is a miracle of a gift because we know that the planet is getting browner and browner, but yet and still, they're treating us as if we are subhuman. But that needs to go away from your conscious mind. I'm sorry about that heater. So I'm in a older unit. It's kind of a lot of buzzing, and yeah, I'm in a 50-year-old unit, probably 40 years, but it's still pretty good heating apparatus. So we're grateful for the heat. Thank goodness for heat. Okay, so yeah, we know that this is a miracle. Our life is a miracle, and fundamentally, not everyone will see that on your day in, day out the way where you move, however you live, wherever you live. Let me do something. We definitely see our miracle, and we know that our life is a miracle, but sometimes others may or may not see that completely. Okay, I just muted my phone. Apologize. So let's deal with that. So we were talking about yesterday. In my mind, people are doing like a lot of tattoos, tats. I guess that's affectionately known. Um, because I believe in their mind, they're not going to consciously say that, but they need color. They feel the lack of color. And therefore, the only way to get color, if you will, is to inject color. And this is what they choose to do. I just am amazed of how many melanated people are choosing to distort their beautiful black and brown bodies with a dye. A dye. Think about that. A dye. So we have to rethink this clearly, because if melanin is a gift, why am I going to distort this gift? You know, I mean, there's nothing more complimentary to be. You know, I'm almost 6 feet tall, and well, 5'11". Okay, so to be at this height, and my goodness, such a joy. But not everyone feels that way, so this is to their, I know that it's not proper perhaps for me to say this, but I think it's to their fault, because once you have melanin, the gift, you came in and you asked, I'm gonna be in the melanin line, before you took form. And this is how you chose this incarnation, this path, this divine path, because not everyone is equipped for these attributes. A lot of people are not equipped, unfortunately. I was talking to a friend, and she said to me, I really would like to experience, before COVID, if there was such a time, but to be able to travel freely and go into another region of the world and not have front and center your race, your ethnicity, blah, 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 but just to be free, just to be free. So I told her, I said, well, freedom starts here. Freedom starts here. And whenever you feel that you're in bondage, that might be something you need to work through, because that's not the natural state of our beingness. And as soon as others realize that, it will be a new day. So I don't know why it is that some, I don't want to say all, it's not going to be a blanket statement, but you know who you are. There have been a percentage of melanated folks that have chosen to, let me put it nicely, to lighten their skin. I'm not going to mention any names, even though I read the fair use disclaimer, because I don't have factual details. But I know what I have seen, let's just say 20, 30 years ago, person A that I'm talking about, and then now to 2021, 2 or 3 or 4 shades lighter. You know who you are. But this is what we're telling the outer world, that we're not comfortable in the skin that we're in. And so that sends a message to little girls all over the world, including European people, that I don't want to have this. I want skin like yours. How can that be? How can that be? So this is where we are in 2021. The black doll is least likely to be chosen by the Black girl. That was back in, I want to say 2016, not too long ago. So even the white child picks the white doll, rightfully so, but the Black girl picks the white doll. And this is why we have so much work to do, because why would that be? Why would that be? It would seem like the Black child would pick the Black doll and the white child would pick the white doll, because we see the image and we see it um, properly. But no, it's not properly. It's distorted, because when we think of dark people, bad, I can just go into the dictionary. If you look up the word Black, what that means, even though we're melanated, but the word Black, we don't see melanin, if any, in the dictionary, but we see mostly Black. We talk about blacklisted, all these adjectives that are negative, and it seeps into the consciousness and our subconscious to be able to say, oh yeah, we feel good about ourselves. I don't, time for water. I see that may or may not be true, unfortunately. One second. Nothing like water. Yeah, so I don't understand why we see the disconnect of the white doll and the Black doll. The white child should take the white doll, and the Black child should take the Black doll. But that's definitely not the case. That is definitely not the case. So we have a lot of work to do. Self-image, um, police brutality, and like. I think it starts police brutality. I believe that's where it can start. And also, I'm not going to say they have all the onus, but it's seeping through our society, like it or not, because we saw the insurrection a couple of weeks ago, about 2.5 weeks ago. It was horrific. I mean, any standard of, understanding laws were broken. If there was a tenth, let's just say it was 1,000, or I want to say it was 5,000 people there. It may not have been that much, that many, but enough. Excuse me. So we had at least 5,000. If 10% were struck with rubber bullets, that may have dispersed the crowd, because people would have known, okay, rubber bullets, in their mind, rubber bullets can hurt. But yeah, they can take an eye out, or they could cause injury more so than they recognize. But they didn't even do that. Why? I mean, breaking laws, everyone's equal. We have one nation's under God, one nation under God. That is oftentimes distorted, because we don't have one nation under God. We have Black people that have a nation, and white people that have a different nation. This is straight up. This is not sugarcoating. I wish I could, but I can't. I've lived in this society for several decades. And whether I'm here, I'm in California, if I'm back on the East Coast, it's almost the same. Like, Malcolm X said, anything south of the Canadian line is south. Anything south of the Canadian line is south. So we look at the north, south, east, west different, but it's all the same. So once we connect the vision of our people and say it's positive. We're not going to be blood. We're not going to see bloodshed shed in the streets on a mere traffic violation, a minor, even if it's not a violation. People are being shot wholesale. So this is where the community can come together and say enough is enough. So when European or Caucasian white men, if they can stand up and say this is wrong, but they benefit from this. So in their mind, this is not right, wrong. This is what we know. So likewise, a couple of weeks ago, they knew that in their psyche, if we would met with police, we are white men and women, they would be quote unquote protected under the law, under the law. So this is not just. And I don't know what it will take, but I know what it won't take is us feeling less than. The psychology of how we feel about ourselves in the gut, how we feel. We have to raise up. We have to level up in our society and say, if I don't feel good about myself, how is someone else going to feel good about me? It starts from the inside. It starts from the inside. It starts from the inside. Because we know the playing field, yes, for some, privilege, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if they are Black and privileged, melanated and privileged, I don't even know if there's a huge difference between the two. Because if you're African or melanated and you're successful, they can pull you over. Again, it's back to the police force. They can pull you over countless number of times. And you can be an attorney, a doctor, blah, blah, blah. So the first thing they see is melanin. So that's such a threat. Why is it such a threat? Because we don't know the level of our power. We don't know, excuse me, the magnitude of our power. If we did, we wouldn't do some of the things. Not trying to say, across the board, we're doing a lot of stuff horrible. But what I'm saying is we would not be able to do half or a third or 10% of what we do. I'm talking about things that are involved. I'm not going to say drugs, but um, illegal drug use. We know, unless you're in a protective environment, that no one's going to talk about anything beyond the door. Hey, you're out there. You're out there. So don't harm your melanin. Why would you do that? Why would you choose to do that? If you are sane, it's hard to be sane in this society, but if you are sane and you pay taxes, you live your life, et cetera, you should not want to harm anything around you, people around you. It should be peace, love, and football, maybe. But yeah, I mean, we definitely have to be accountable for what we see, because sometimes it starts in here. And if it starts in here, we have to turn that inside out. We have to heal that pain of feeling less than or feeling left out or whatever, so that we can rise above. We can rise above. So I feel that, why are we distorting our are melanin. I haven't been tattooed. That's just my personal opinion of what I've chosen to do in this lifetime. I definitely won't be tatted up. I mean, it's not a judgment. It's just the reality of our perfection. So why would you choose to just being a follower? And I know there was some people that were. I'm trying to remember the henna. Okay, henna. That's totally different. That is beautiful. That's creative, etc. I'll check that. Henna, I'm not at all concerned with. But the tattoo, it's just I don't know. I don't know. If someone can contact me, if you have tattoos and you're melanated, I mean, how would you distort the beauty? The joy of your life. And it's just one example of things. I'm not picking on tattoos, but I see them all the time out here, and it just boggles my mind. Like, you're melanated and you're tatted up. Like what? It's almost I'm oxymoron. I'm gonna get off of tats. So that's more immediate of feeling that and seeing that in my immediate, when I go out, chances are I'm going to see someone tatted up, and it's just interesting. Okay. So I beat that horse. So, okay. So next to the next point, which is if I went online before I came on this evening, and Amazon, for example, they are selling skin lightening, creams. Yeah, skin lightening cream. I'm like, wow, this is 2021. That was back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. Some more water. So we've moved the needle, but we haven't moved the needle far enough. So what are you doing to move the needle? Are you educating? Are you talking about, not so much beating up on people or verbally and all like that, but are you challenging? A healthy challenge will, like, I think I'm doing this because my bestie or my brother did it, but thinking for yourself, living for your truth. And that's what it's all about. And so I want to go into a little bit more of my book, and I will do that probably tomorrow. I'm going to talk about vitamins. And we went like a week and a half ago. I went into some of the supplements that I've been taking, and it's been keeping me healthy and no COVID. And, I was saddened to hear about one of my besties' spouse, has it. So, I talked to her this morning. So we have to be very, very careful in this time. We just lost Hank Aaron. And many moons ago, I worked at a retail, I'm not even going to give the name, but a retail spot. And he came to my line. He was really nice. And maybe his assistant or something, or a relative, when I was working in Atlanta. So at that level, I quote unquote rang him up. But he seemed full of life. That was probably 20 years ago, way more than, yeah, maybe 20, 25 years ago. Um, and that was unfortunate that he expired. The rumor is that he died in his sleep. And huh, that was unfortunate because he's my mother's age. So he was born in 1934, and like, wow, you know. I know we're not all going to stay here, 100,000 years, but it is my opinion that we're in it for a long haul. We have to do our due diligence to stay healthy, to stay healthy, to stay healthy. And by doing that is getting a copy of my book and also eating properly. I'm always going to come back to this because we take for granted our health and wellness until now because it's front and center. It's front and center. And I just know that our longevity is like being proven right now because I have one sibling who is telling my mother to take the vaccine. And then she has me in her ear, you know, perhaps not to do it, like some of the kinks are being kicked out. She's lived 86 years. She still drives. She still, she still drives. She still takes care of her finances, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I don't want to say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. you know, I've never taken a flu shot. Color me crazy, but I've never taken the flu shot. You know, that's just my personal walk. Um, I was working in HIV years and years ago, and I think the vaccine came out somewhere in that period of the vaccine was approved. And as front care workers in the laboratory, et cetera, we had first dibs on getting, protection and blah, blah, blah. And I signed a release even back then. I don't want to get that. So it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice because, you can see the benefit in theory. I don't know about in practice, so I'll just leave it at that. But let's do our due diligence to just stay healthy. Just work out. You don't have to be a beast at the gym, even if you don't have a membership, just walking, and getting fresh air and breathing in, breathing out. That's a luxury. In fact, I was at the bank this morning and about midday, and this lady was probably, I'll say like in her 60s, maybe. And she had that portable oxygen tank, so life is precious. We cannot take it for granted because a lot of times when we do, something will, cause or have us kind of look at it all together a different way. So don't take your health for granted. Don't take your health for granted. Don't take your health for granted. Make sure you're eating properly. I'm not trying to say 100%, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and grains. That's it. Water, and that's it. plus of plus 3 to 5%. You've got some error there. You don't have to be so, paranoid with everything, but let's just say 90, if 95% of your intake is good, that's excellent. If we got the 5%, we get a glass of wine, we join, out here we can smoke weed, medicinal weed. We have dispensaries now, and well, we've had them before, but now it's legal. So, this is where we are. I'm glad Arizona did it. We had it on the ballot last year. Oh no, two years ago, and it failed very slim margin. And some of the legislation they had to kind of rework, and it passed flying colors this time. But yeah, let's just do our due diligence to stay healthy, because we don't know about the COVID. We don't know. Sometimes people don't have symptoms, sometimes they do. It's not one excuse me, not one size fits all. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And search your heart on your decisions, make sure they're sound. Um, it's perfect in alignment with who you are and what you aspire to do and the path that you have chosen, which is a divine path. No ends or buts about it. This is a divine path that you've chosen. You've chosen this path to be melanated, and no one, not too many other people. There's a percentage. Most of the planet is melanated. Um, yeah, statistically, melanin of some level. So we have to do our due diligence to stay healthy and stay safe and sane in the sea of COVID and the impeachment, and people got you coming and going. So if you can yesterday I think I turned on the TV for one show, and that was it. And that was really liberating, um, because sometimes we can get caught up in that noise. And if we're in alignment and living in peace and love and divinity, that's all we need. That's all we need. And I'm going to talk about religion a little bit later on in the week, and some of my takes on it. And kind of stay tuned. All right. So this is 38 minutes. So this turned out to be a long video. That wasn't my intention, but we just go with the flow of life, and everything is perfect divine order. So with that said, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to probably talk about religion either tomorrow or the next day, and the fact that we're not assembling in the religious arena as we once were. And what does that mean to melanated people? That'd be interesting chat. So anyway, have a wonderful, beautiful, fantastic evening. Stay safe out there. Take a little bit more precaution with driving. With everything going on, the planets are shifting. We have to just take a moment to breathe and just find the sweetness in life. In the midst of all this chaos and confusion, just find the sweetness within, and it will then shine throughout your world. So have a beautiful night. This is Deanne coming at you, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, and this is a copy of my book. Stay safe. Be well. Peace.